Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyperroll with Autarch, and a build I think you should know and use under the right circumstances. I see people forcing this all the time, and we'll get into it after the first set of augments. Gargantuan Resolve is always tempting to take because you can work it into so many builds, but we roll what's around it and have the option for a Porcelain Crest. Now, because this is a spatula portal, that means we could potentially get 2 Porcelain Crests. This one comes with an Amumu, so we could end up being able to do 6 porcelain. And shout out to Yakabito, if I'm pronouncing it right, who spotted me in this game and said hello. If you're watching the video, hello. I was glad to play with you in this one. But generally, I'm hoping at this point that we can get up to the 6 porcelain somehow, either going with Warden Snipers or into Porcelain Arcanist. Since you have 2 porcelains that are Arcanist, that's Lux and Lysandra, that feels a natural way, but not to build into Ash at all also feels like a mistake. So lots of different directions this can go. And just in case you don't know, the way Porcelain works is that after you cast your spell, you get additional attack speed and take reduced damage, which goes up with each level. There's only 4 porcelain in the game, so the ability to create 2 emblems will allow you to go to 6 porcelain, which gives you a huge attack speed buff and a lot of reduced damage, but you need a spatula and bow in order to pull it off. We are now headed into the second set of augments, and Warden Crest really looks tempting since it's going to come with an Amumu and will allow us to have a really strong front line in this. But we want to roll everything, and boiling point, yeah, there's really no point in rolling that much anymore. We do it just because, but this will give our porcelains a type of built-in Spear of Sojin, and then they'll have a built-in Sunfire Cape as well. After getting that, it was pretty obvious the way to go was Porcelain Arcanist. We have the emblem currently on Illaoi, who is an Arcanist and a Warden, so we're getting a little bit of the Warden buff, but since everyone, at least all the porcelains, are going to have a Spear of Sojin kind of built in, this will be really good for them, and that will give us more mana, more casting, lots of burn. And in my mind, the hardest part about playing Porcelain anything is that you're going to likely start with 2, which is Lux and Amumu, and then you're going to be in a drought for a long time in terms of filling that in what your team is going to need. One thing you have going for you, though, is that Lux is surprisingly strong for a 2 cost. Probably one of the stronger 2 costs in the game, right up there with Kindred in the right build. The reality that she can stun 2 people for 1.5 seconds is really key in keeping her in the backline and doing a lot of damage. It is time for the final set of augments. Note, we have not gotten a bow yet, so we haven't been able to make our next porcelain emblem. Really only option here, Dynamic Duo and Hope. And Hope springs eternal because we end up getting our gold 3-star Lux, and then the Lysandra, who is an additional Porcelain Arcanist, so we can replace Nar, and we now have 4 porcelain, 6 Arcanist. Getting Lysandra this early is kind of key because she can give us cash and prizes as she is able to kill things, and because we are now up to the 4 porcelain, she's going to be doing a little bit extra each time. As you can see, we got 4 gold out of that kill, and I'm sure you're all sick of hearing that bubbling pot in the game. Amumu is a very interesting tank in pretty much any build because you're going to want to build a little bit of AP onto him so he can heal back to full each time he ults, because he gains health back based on magic. It is time for the final item component, and we were really hoping for a bow so we could make another porcelain emblem, but Gary is not doing his job, and we end up with a lot of really kind of duplicate items here. We still have some hope because Lysandra can create items, so we're not necessarily going to put everything on, but we will go ahead and put the Sunfire Cape on Amumu, even though it's a little duplicative with our Porcelain Augment that burns enemies, and it's just not going to stack. And we picked up an Ash because Hope springs eternal that Lysandra is going to print us the bow that we need to make the final porcelain emblem. So Ash can come in either way. She's good either way, but let's hope for 6. And it is time for an item choice, and since we're going to be bringing Ash in, we might as well get Last Whisperer. nothing else really would have worked on any of these champs anyway. And you can see in this fight that Lux Amumu combination is just a nasty bit of business. She's holding things as well as everything pretty much getting stuck on Amumu, with Lux finishing them off, doing over 1,000 damage per hit. Yeah, she's leading the damage charts. And we're holding on to various components because we're hoping to get pieces and parts from Lysandra. We'll grab the Deathblade here for Ashe, since most of our team, well, basically our entire team, is AP. This will be some nice AD damage thrown in case someone just stacks Dragon Claws against us. We went ahead and dispensed the rest of our items. I would love to get an Archangel Staff on Amumu. That's kind of an awesome item for him, but we have a magnetic remover in case we happen to get it in the future and want to take off one of the tank items. But you can see this is working out really, really well, and we are now into the top 4. Item-wise, since we are mostly AP, we might as well grab an Ionic Spark, shred some magic resist, so that way we're doing more damage. We found a second Lysandra and then used our champion duplicator to bring her up to 2 stars, and we're really hoping she gets enough entombments or sticks enough people in kettles that we can get some items, and those items are a bow, because then we will be able to make the final porcelain emblem and see what 6 porcelain feels like. But I can tell you that the 5 porcelain, along with the 6 Arcanist, seems to feel pretty good. And we did get items, but they happen to be, again, 2 chain vests. It is time for our final items, and we just want to get AP onto Lysandra, so the Hextech Gunblade there. We're also going to bring in Hui, so that we have a chance of getting Zoe up to 3 stars. Then the Jeweled Gauntlet. With Lysandra, it's kind of tricky to get items on her for some reason, so make sure you hover over her for a little bit before you place it, or yeah, it's just not going to work. And we face off against a Heavenly Dragon Lord team that doesn't really have the type of synergy that I think is going to help them too much, especially against the type of team that we have and the amount of damage we're putting out. Their gold 3-star Janna is going to help keep things shielded, but it's not going to end up putting out enough damage to really nail us. The Rakan is what they're hoping for, but the Thieves' Gloves didn't help them as much as they needed, and we're ultimately able to dispense with them along with the Ghost team, and just like that, it's GG for everyone, and we never got to get that final porcelain emblem. Hope you enjoyed this video. Porcelain Arcanist, very valid. Give it a try, and as always, have an absolutely, absolutely awesome day.